Welcome back, and we're gonna do a quick haul with the items I just got from Pet Barracks, from Pet's office, and my guy Clarence. He's my go-to guy when I'm trying to get some plants. And yeah, we're just gonna do a quick run through with what I got. So most of these items are for the 5-gallon tank we're gonna be setting up today. So we have this magnetic brush. This is for the goldfish tank, and we have some feeding cone for the babies. We're gonna try to feed them more live foods. And then we have some Betta feeds, Optimum Betta for Cal. So the 5-gallon is gonna be for Cal, so we're gonna have some more specialized diet for him. And also we bought some hardscape. So this is my first time using I guess these are serious stones or maybe dragon stones. I'm not sure, I forgot, but I got these. It has been so hard to find good stones and driftwood here in Bacolod. I guess there have been some sort of shortage with the pet shops. I haven't been able to find any good stocks, and they haven't been restocking that much. So these are the stones that I got. I like them very much, and I'm very excited to set them up to the 5-gallon tank. The last item we got from Pet Barracks is this bloodworms. So they're not packed like this. I just had to put them in this container to avoid the blood spilling out. So these are frozen bloodworms. So I'm gonna be feeding this to our baby ranchos. So feeding live foods for juvie goldfish, from what I've seen in videos from groomers, that's always a good idea because it's gonna bring out more growth during those stages. We also got from Pet's office, we got this black background. So black and blue, it's not adhesive, it's not a sticker. You just have to use tape or petroleum jelly to make it stick to the aquarium. And we also got some lights for the 5-gallon tank. So these are just stop lights. You just have to put it over the tank. But since the 5-gallon is kind of small, I'm gonna want to have a open top. So I'm gonna try to attach this on the upper shelf of the tank. So I'm gonna make it look more cleaner. So here are the plants. I'm gonna show you what plants I got for the 5-gallon. And you know me, I don't like high maintenance plants. I like to keep them low tech. So I got some Java Fir narrows. So those are like 4 packs of Java Fir narrows there. And then we also have some Anubias Petite. So specifically Japan Petite. According to Clarence, Japan Petite has smaller rhizomes or roots compared to Nana Petite. So those are the plants we're gonna be using, as you can see. So 4 orders of Java Fir narrows. That's gonna fill up the background really well. And then some Nana, Anubias Nana, Japan Petite I mean, to give it some more accent. So we have everything ready. We have the background, we have the lights, and even the feeds for Cal. But before we start with the aquascape, these are the other plants I'm gonna be using. Those are some Bacopa and Ludwigas. But before we start with the aquascape, we're gonna feed our ranchos and koi some frozen bloodworms. So I've gotten the bloodworms. This is my first time feeding any of my fishes. I said that earlier. So I'm not sure how to do this. So they gave me the cubes one. Usually I was expecting to get the one with the tub, but they gave me this one, the cubes. So yeah, this one. So you've got this one. Some of them are spilling out, as you can see. There's some goo, bloodworms goo on the plastic. But we're gonna get one of this piece and just put it on that thing. Okay. Oh, ooh, ugh. Blood is pouring out. Do I just push it? Oh, they melt really fast. Ah. Oh, okay. I'm very new to this, so I'm finding this really disgusting. But we got that. That is the bloodworms, the frozen bloodworms. So I'm just gonna put all of this cube in. Won't come out.
it melts really fast. You know what? I don't think the blood. Oh, I opened two. It's really hard to get off. Oh man. You know what? I'm just gonna put it bit by bit. Guys, it's feeding time. I'm not even sure if it's good to use the cone or should I just pour them all in the tub. Maybe it's best to just pour them in the tub because I think the cone is better for live bloodworms because they're moving and wiggling and that's gonna catch the attention of the fishes. But yeah, I opened another one, so I'm probably just gonna pour all of this in. I'm just gonna put them all in. You know what? I'm just gonna show you after because this is so disgusting for me. This is the first time I've done this. Okay, so I've dropped the cube over there, and don't worry, it's not because they don't like it. Some of them already nibbed some, chunks, all that bloodworm. But just because of me, I'm hovering over the tub and they're just hiding. They're kind of afraid of me. They're still not comfortable with me. So we're done feeding them the very first batch of bloodworms. So I'm hoping bloodworms gonna give them more protein and that's gonna make them grow really, really well, especially the babies. So we're gonna see about that in a month or two, feeding them consistently with bloodworms. So the most exciting part, we're now gonna start setting up the 5-gallon. So I'm just gonna voice over in this part. I'm trying to keep the video like under 20 minutes or maybe a few minutes over it, just so it's not gonna be boring. So the first step we're gonna do is gonna transfer all the plants to this white tub. So I put some water in the tub and we're just gonna transfer them so it can be easy for us to, pluck out some plants, just put them in the 5-gallon. And also we're gonna transfer all the plants we have from that rancho tub and koi tub. So these are the bacopas. I forgot what varieties they are, but I have a bunch of them. I have like 6 stems I got from Petcore, and we also have this Ludwiga. So I actually have 2 sets of Ludwigas here. I forgot. I'm not good with plants, but I also have this. These are like smaller leaves. If you've noticed, compared to the previous one I just showed, that one had more bigger leaves. So we have all the plants in this tub, and now we're gonna start setting up our tank for the hardscape. So we're gonna start with the hardscape. So I'm just gonna clean the table a bit, keep it dry, and I'm gonna use this towel as the base of the tank, just so if you spill anything, the table is not gonna get that messy. So we already have the hardscape here. I just place it in here while we were waiting, getting all the other stuff. So this is the driftwood we're gonna be using. I've had this for 2 months actually. I was mainly going to use it for the 15-gallon tank, but unfortunately I just didn't like how it looked like. So yeah, it's good that we have that, so we didn't have to buy another one, because driftwood nowadays can be very expensive here in Bacolod City. And yeah, we're just gonna clean the tank a bit, and now we're gonna play around how we want the hardscape to look like. So I have the serious stones or dragon stones. I forgot. I keep on forgetting. I'm sorry guys. So we're just gonna try to see what looks best in the tank. So I like this position right now, but I still, at this point of the video, I was not sure with how the driftwood is gonna be placed. But for the stones, I liked how that looked like, the one I showed you earlier. So before we're gonna add them, we're just gonna add some base aqua soil. So this is the substrate we're gonna be using. We're gonna be using some aqua soil and then capped with a sand, black sand. So we're gonna be elevating the back of the tank. We're just gonna make that higher compared to the front. So if you're a new aquascaper or if you're trying to explore aquascaping, that's an advice usually given by pro aquascapers. To give your tank more depth, just make the back substrate a lot more elevated or higher compared than the front. So now we're adding the hardscapes, and I really like how the rocks are looking. We're gonna make that turn into like a mountain vibe thing. So that part's gonna look more elevated. The back part of the rocks are gonna be a higher surface compared to the front. So that's gonna give it like a mountain look. And the front part, we're gonna make it a bit more thicker. So right now, at this point, the front kind of looks bare. I'm not gonna stick with that thin layer of sand. We're gonna add more, at least like a half an inch of sand. And then we're just gonna cap the back aqua soil with some black sand as well. So there's no really particular reason why I'm capping it, but just to save with some aqua soil, because since I'm not gonna be using that much rooted plants in this tank, but I added some aqua soil just in case. So that's why we're gonna cap it with sand. So I'm playing around with the driftwood, how it's gonna look like. And until now, I'm not sure, but I did make sure to add this rock to put the driftwood on. And that's gonna help me, move it around better. We're gonna be using tweezers and scissors to add some plants in. So in this point of the video, we're gonna be putting in the bacopas as the background of the aquarium. So these kinds of stem plants, bacopas, grow really, really fast. They're very fast growing. So that's gonna be a great background for this tank. It's gonna fill the background really well. And on the right side of this tank, you can see me placing in the Ludwigas. So that part is gonna be a kind of bare. So we're gonna put any hardscape to cover those plants. So since it's more exposed, I want the red shade of the Ludwigas to be more seen, to be more exposed. So now we're gonna play around how the hardscape is gonna look like with the background. So I like the light coloration, the light green of the bacopas. And that's why I decided to have them as the background, because we're gonna be using Java fern narrows in this setup. And those Java ferns are kind of darker green. So that's gonna contrast really well with the bacopas. So at this point, we're gonna be gluing the Java ferns to this driftwood. So before we're gonna finalize the setup, this is the last part of the hardscaping. Before we put it in the tank, we're just gonna add the Java ferns. So this is gonna make the driftwood more fuller. Oh, you can see the driftwood has a bunch of branches, but if you just put it in the tank as it is, it's gonna look kind of bare. So we're gonna be using this gel glue to add the plants. And you can already see the difference of how it looked before and compared to now. It looks really good. It's really filling the driftwood really well. And we're done. That is how it looks like. And now we're just gonna transfer it to the tank.
So we are being very careful adding this back in. We're gonna make sure we're not gonna break any Java ferns. We're gonna break any stems. And we actually have some bacopas left from that water tub we had. And then we're just gonna add them between the branches of this driftwood. So that's gonna help, make this hardscape or aquascape look more filled. It's gonna make the background of this driftwood look like a forest. So we'll see how that looks like. And funny thing, we actually forgot to put in the background. So we're doing that right now. I'm folding it to crease the background a bit so I can know where to cut. And now we're gonna use this scissors to cut the background.
So I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I'm just basing on the creases I made folding the background. So it's not perfect, but if you're joining competitions, probably you're gonna have to make sure that the background is really, really perfect cut. So now we're gonna stick it. So like I said earlier, it's not an adhesive type of background. So we're just gonna use Scotch tape here. But if I did remember to put it first, I would have used petroleum jelly just like how I did on the Tangle tank. So we have installed the background and I'm loving how this is looking. So right now the plants are not upright, but once we add some water, the stem plants are gonna start to float up and fill the background a lot more. So now we're transferring it to the shelf before we add the water. Because if we add the water first before transferring it, it's gonna be really, really heavy. So we're just gonna have to set it up here and then add the water. And that is what we're gonna do in this part. So we're adding water now. I'm using the DIY water diffuser that I made. But we forgot something. I forgot something. You can see here, the driftwood started floating up. You can see it. It floated upside down, and that's because I forgot to waterlog the driftwood. So after I saw this, I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna take that out. It's a good thing that I added this stone at the bottom. So just to keep it in place, we're gonna glue this driftwood to the stone. So we have them right here, and then we're just gonna dry them up a bit. just so the glue will stick a lot better. So we're gonna be doing a different method than how we did, with the plants. So we use a different glue with the plants. That was a gel glue, and this one with this hardscape, we're gonna be using cyano glue. Yeah, this one. So just like if you've watched my previous video, the 10-gallon aquascape, we had to put in tissue between the hardscapes, and then that's when we put in the glue. So that's a very fast acting glue. So as you can see, just a few seconds after, it's pretty strong, and now it's ready to be put back in to the 5-gallon. So I did kind of mess up the plants. Some of them started floating because I had to remove the rock, and that kind of messed up the substrate. But that was not a problem. So now we're gonna work on the filter. So you can see I removed the cartridge because we're not gonna be using that. That's just taking up some space, and we can put other filter medias inside. So I'm just adding a bunch of sponges in this because there's gonna be more surface area for beneficial bacteria to grow on, and also that's gonna help with the mechanical filtration. So I'm also using this small ceramic rings. So that's also good housing for bacteria to grow on, which is gonna help balancing the ammonia spikes. And some sponge filters to filter out debris. So here is the final product. And I really like how it turned out. So guys, tell me what you think in the comments. But I'm just gonna go through the things I have here in this tank. So the bacopas at the back, I really love how they kind of contrast with the Java ferns. So the Java ferns have this darker green, while the bacopas have this lighter green. So I like how that turns out. And the driftwood, I really love it, and I love how the Java ferns kind of fill it up. So you can see here we have the Ludwigas at the right side, this side, just because I didn't want to put them along the bacopas at the back, just because they have this red coloration with the leaves. So they have a different shade of green and some kind of red leaves. So I want that to be more seen, to be more exposed. So that's why I put them on this side without anything covering them. And the rocks are like my favorite thing about this hardscape, because they look, I don't know, they look really cool. These are like dragon stones, and it reminds me of Lord of the Rings. So I'm a big fan of that, and I love how it reminds me of that. And we also have some Anubias petites. So I didn't show you in the video how I set them up. I didn't glue them with the hardscape. I actually glued them, each of them, to pebbles, to black pebbles, so that it goes well with the soil. And it turned out well. I just had to drop them in, and that's gonna be very advantageous for me because I can just move them around with some tweezers if I don't like how they're setting up right now. So yeah, that is the final product. And we have the filter over there running, and it's doing its job. So we're just gonna have to cycle this tank and wait for it for maybe a few days. We're just gonna do some regular water changes, more frequent water changes to remove some excess nutrients from the aqua soil, and then we're gonna add in some shrimps. So that is for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's kind of lengthy, but I'm very happy with how this turned out, and I'm very excited to put in our Betta Cal in this tank. So we're gonna have some yellow shrimps. I'm looking forward to have some yellow shrimps, and that's gonna contrast a lot with the color of Betta. I mean with Cal. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.